August 22, 2017 by Ryan Richke. It's been over a year since Making a Murderer landed on Netflix, yielding theories about the fate of Teresa Halbach and a search for updates on the Steven Avery case. One of the most contentious points about the series, though, is how much evidence was omitted from the Netflix series. The creators have addressed these concerns. Not only do they admit that they couldn't possibly have fit all the evidence, but they also assert that whatever they left out wouldn't have made a big difference anyway. Even so, we did a little digging to see what had been left out. It's worth noting that we're only citing what has been reported in the media since the show's release, so take from this information what you will. Keep reading to see what we uncovered, then check out even more ways to fuel your new addiction. 1. Avery's early cat crime was severely underplayed. While Making a Murderer definitely mentions Avery's early crime in the first episode, the details of the incident are a lot more grisly than what's portrayed. Steven describes playing with a cat and tossing it over the fire. Yet, according to an article by Madison.com, he poured gas and oil on a cat, threw it in a bonfire and watched it die. 2. Avery and Halbach already knew each other. The documentary seems to skip over a few interesting details while giving backstory about Halbach and Avery. For one, they had been involved in multiple business transactions. Halbach had photographed multiple vehicles that Avery was attempting to sell through Auto Trader magazine. Avery had even allegedly requested Halbach for that last appointment. What's more, in one of Halbach's last visits to the Avery property, Avery allegedly answered the door wearing only a towel. While this doesn't indicate premeditation or motive, the fact that Avery and Halbach had previously met, and that he reportedly behaved inappropriately around her, seems like pertinent information. Story continues below. 3. Avery had recently purchased both leg shackles and handcuffs. According to a 2006 story in Milwaukee Magazine, Avery admitted to owning these tools, and they matched what Brendan Dassey described to the police in his interrogation. However, no traces of Halbach's DNA were found on either of the items. 4. Avery allegedly called Halbach 3 times that day. Prosecutors have cited 3 separate phone calls made by Avery to Halbach on the day of her disappearance. For 2 of them, he dialed 67 to block the caller ID. Story continues below. 5. Incriminating evidence was completely omitted. District Attorney Ken Kratz recently participated in an interview with Maxim, during which he cited some troubling evidence. Avery's DNA was discovered under the hood of Halbach's car. Also, 2 eyewitnesses claimed they saw Avery depositing Halbach's personal possessions, including her cell phone and camera, into a barrel for burning. This was not contested. Furthermore, Kratz also claims Avery spoke often in prison of his intention to torture and rape and murder young women once he was free. 6. There's way more to Brendan Dassey's initial confessions. Indiana. The series, Brendan Dassey's police interrogations are boiled down to mere minutes, but in real life, they lasted 4 hours. In the past few weeks, new portions of the transcripts have surfaced, revealing more about his initial confessions. You can even watch the entire process unfold in 5 separate YouTube clips. In the interest of brevity, though, here are some crucial details. UTIDNTC on Netflix. Dassey admits to stabbing Halbach in the stomach after Avery took her out to the garage. He also claims that Avery fired 5 shots into Halbach's head. He admits that the entire murder was premeditated. He said they had been planning it for a few days. Dassey claims Avery said he was going to kill her, and he wanted Dassey's help. Avery picked Halbach because she looked good and she was pretty nice. Story continues below. 7. Dassey implied to his mother that Avery had molested him. While the docuseries does feature some of the phone conversations between Dassey and his mother, one part was cut out entirely that Avery inappropriately touched Dassey. According to transcripts of the conversation, Dassey said, "I even told them about Steven touching me," then mentioned that his brothers had been touched on occasion as well. 8. Dassey agreed to take a polygraph test, and failed. According to the records of Dassey's session with investigator Mike Oakley, Dassey completely failed a polygraph test, which suggested a 98% probability of deception. And yet, the official results of the test were listed as inconclusive. Story continues below. 9. That infamous bullet with Halbach's DNA matched Avery's rifle. The bullet, of course, is mentioned in explicit detail in the series. What we don't learn, though, is that the bullet was forensically tied to Avery's gun.